been noticing some familiar faces pop up. And obviously, I have to sit here and tell you all about them. These are the luxury items that I see bubbling up in popularity. What are my sources, you ask? Well, number one, my own two eyes. Number two, Gab Waller's Hot List column on Vogue.com. She is the luxury sorceress to the stars, as well as trawling through various websites looking at what items have sold out, are in low stock, all of that business. I keep my ears to the ground for you. That's what we're going to go through today. Link's going to be below in the shopping button on the screen. Guys, if you are new here, my name is Cassie and I'm a self-diagnosed luxury addict. I put out videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, so if you like luxury fashion, well then you're probably going to love it here. So head down there, subscribe, turn on the bell, become a member of our luxury addicted family. When are we going to rehab? Never. Now, before we jump into the first item on today's list, do you want to know what's hot? The bag that I've been carrying recently, okay? This beautiful blue sequined Chanel. Now, you might be sitting there going, oh my gosh, you didn't unbox this for us. You didn't tell us that you bought this bag. Well, that's because it is from today's video sponsor, VIVRELLE. Essentially, my wardrobe just got a hell of a lot bigger. VIVRELLE is a members only platform, and the members basically get access to not only fabulous designer bags, but fine jewellery, watches even. Once you're a member, you can swap your item once a month, but let's say I really take a shining to her, I can keep her for as long as I wish, okay? I just pay my membership every month and we have a long and lasting relationship. I think this is a fantastic idea in general, but let's say that you wanted to try out the hot new bag, see what all the hype is about. They have those sorts of pieces on there. Or, let's be honest, it's the summer. Do you want to know what that means? Wedding season. Let's say you want a fabulous wedding clutch that you can carry with you to all of your summery events. Wonderful, they've got that too. There's loads of different choices there, from more like everyday pieces to more eventy pieces as well. And if you really love your piece, then they are available to purchase at exclusive members only prices. Memberships start at $45 a month and go up from there depending on brand and style of bag and all of that. The most popular tier, I believe, is Classique at $119 a month. I have a discount code in case you want to give it a bit of a spin. Cassie30 should help you get on your way. Thank you so much to VIVRELLE for sponsoring this part of the video. So the first item is a quintessential summer shoe. These are the Gianvito Rossi Shanty shoes. Now, there are a few different versions of this within this collection, right? But the two most popular are the kitten heel and the flat flip-flop. So this is a little thonged moment, but on the strap you have these chakra inspired stones, right, in various different colours. They feel sort of summery but bohemian. Obviously they do them in a brown leather or a gold in that kitten heel sort of style, which maybe, you know, feels a little bit more fancy, a little bit more evening-y, let's say. So whilst a little bit bohemian or whatever, still very luxurious in its execution. So I went to do the digging and see what sort of stock levels are looking like. If you're a 38 or a 39, good luck to you, because it's slim pickings out there. A lot of the most popular sizes are out, but if you're on sort of the smaller end or the larger end of the spectrum, you've got a bit of a better chance there. Now, the other styles involved in this collection are, there's like a gladiator style and an espadrille style as well, but really it's the flip-flop and the kitten heel that everybody seems to be loving. I'm happy for them. I also really like this style. I think that it's nice, it's fun, it's wearable. You can see this integrating extremely easy into whatever wardrobe you've got. Item number 2. This is the Chloe Charms shoulder bag. If we know one thing that is trending in 2025, it's a sodding bag charm. And Chloe's gone and done all the dirty work for you. They said, listen. You don't just need to buy the bag and then I'm going to, you know, upsell you to all these little bells and whistles that you can put on there. No, I'm going to give you all-inclusive. This bag is an all-inclusive resort. It really is. So you've got this little sort of very similar to something like a Prada Reedition 2000. That's not helpful. Shoulder style, right? So very similar to something like this. Looks great, fits under the shoulder, easy as well for like a summery moment. You can envision yourself just like grabbing and going. They are doing this in, I think it's called a golden khaki colour, or that's in the suede, or a black version. It's the suede version that is really gaining all of the attention at the moment, and then you have this golden chain adorned with letters spelling out Chloe. There's also randomly a fun little monkey hanging off the end there. Good for him. What would you call him? I would call him Philippe. I think that this is really easy and really nice. Again, what did I find from my hunting? It is currently trending on Net-a-Porter, and as of filming, there's only one left on Saks, and it has also been deemed bestseller status. Question, how is that status given? What are the units like? We're never going to find out that answer, well, especially not by the time this video comes out, but either way, it's been given that sticker and there's only one left. So there we go. I also think that it is a brand that is very much sort of like got a bit of a buzz about it this year. People are really putting their eyes on Chloe. People are really enjoying this bohemian vibe that they have resurrected, as it were. And then you also marry that with, you know, a decent price point for a little shoulder bag, something like that. So it seems to be the stars are aligning for this bag to have success. Other Chanel 25. Now I know that I mentioned this already in a previous version of this video. Already this has been gaining traction. It's the Chanel 25. It is the new named bag brought out by Chanel this year, 25 because it's 2025, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Anyway, I don't even really know how to describe this bag. It's sort of like, it's like a structured hobo bag with a chain top handle. They're doing it in a small and a medium, and they're also releasing it in a mini for cruise. I didn't realise that this bag is really quite divisive. People either really love it or really hate it. I think it's a fine looking bag, you know? I think it's nice. But anyway, I've decided to mention this again because Purseblog recently published an article talking about how the resale value of this bag is really, really high at the moment. So I went looking. The small size of this bag retails for $6,000, all right? The cheapest one I saw on resale was $8,800, brand new. So that is a nice little earner on the resale market. And I think that also speaks to the popularity of this bag. We know that Chanel has been trying to, you know, do some little exclusivity strategies, and not anybody can walk in and get whatever bag and whatever else, and regardless of how you feel about that, it seems to be working. So I thought that I would mention that because that is still a popular piece. I think it's definitely going to maintain that for this year, going into next year, especially as the cruise comes with smaller sizes. Burberry's midi kilt. You know me, I'm always rooting for Burberry. I'm really, really here for Burberry's comeback. Let me know if you want an entire video on that, because I could talk about that. But I think their new strategy is brilliant. Anyway, I noticed this Burberry kilt on Net-a-Porter, and it comes in two colours. There's a grey check or a blue check. Personally, I think the blue is better, but it's the grey one that has low stock and is selling out. Especially in the classic Burberry check colours. It's very much a permanent piece that is always kicking around there. We all know what a Burberry checked little mini skirt kilt looks like. So they've introduced this midi version, and what's interesting as well is that it's seems to be popular even though we're in the midst of summer, right? And usually you're really not going to see people buying those winter items until August, September, right? Really September. But I will say the one thing to do with this that I'm not sure exactly how popular it is there don't seem to be many stockists of it. The grey colour isn't even on the Burberry website, and whilst it's running out of sizes in the US, the UK version of the Net-a-Porter site has all sizes in. But that might also be Burberry's popularity outside of the US. Are they selling that really like Britishness to non-Brits? Unclear. But anyway, let's keep an eye out on that one. The feather shoes, they have a real name. It's the 72138 pair of shoes from Jimmy Choo. So these are a pair that was launched as part of the Jimmy Choo The Archive collection, which was a re-release of 7 or 8 pairs of shoes that they originally made between 1997 and 2001. This pair in particular sold out everywhere, not a chance in hell, good luck to you, go on your way. Which is actually, well, it's shocking and it's not shocking. It's shocking because it's a really delicate shoe. It is a lilac suede. It's very simple, very airy looking, and then you have this one singular white feather bent over the strap. holding your little toes in. I think it's very delicate. It's not a shoe that, it's a shoe that you have to look out for. It's a shoe that you have to see where you step in and all of that, and it wouldn't last a single day in New York. However, this is also a shoe that was seen on Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City. So I maybe also think the popularity of that show and people's love for her as a character has also helped with the fact that this is sold out. She wears this in, I don't know what season, what episode, but she's running to catch the Staten Island ferry and her shoe falls off her foot and she's like, I lost my shoe. It's that one. It's the little feather one. So there we go. Sadly, I've got no links for that one. The Rose to-go bag. Whether you are a fan of the Row or not, their bags do pretty well, okay? And there's also like a cult following of the Row. I think, I'm predicting this one, I think this bag is going to do very well, especially since they had the success of the 90s bag, which is this almost like little pencil case looking, little suede, but they also did do it in leather shoulder bag. Very minimal, very tiny. They are releasing the to-go bag. They do this in a small and a large. Forget about the large, I think it's the small that's going to do really well. It is a tiny little suede shopping bag looking thing. Very minimal, hardly any branding, in a way that is very the Row. Absolutely no bells and whistles. This only, I believe, comes in one colour and that is the mustard. But keep your eyes open for this one. I think this is going to do very well. While we're on the topic of the Row, and listen, I love Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. I was an extremely avid fan growing up. I had the Game Boy game. Okay, So Little Time, Passport to Paris, Holiday in the Sun, okay? I was there for the, and you know what? I'm really, really happy for their success. Whether or not I like the pieces has nothing to do with it. I think that they're doing really well and they know what they're doing. Anyway, so they have got this pair of gold ballet flats. Again, very simple, very minimal, zero bells and whistles. If somebody asked me to describe the Row, I would use those three phrases. But anyway, they're little slip-ons. Selling out. Okay, there's only one size left on Net-a-Porter by the time that I filmed this. They are currently on pre-order at the Row, so there is a chance if you want it. And there are a couple left on Forward, but on Forward it is ranked number 6 on the Ballet Flats list. Okay, number 1 is a liar, you're not surprised, neither am I. But number 6 in popularity? That's kind of shocking now, for what is essentially just a simple little gold slip-on ballet flat. At least it's gold, at least it's got a little bit more razzle-dazzle than some of the Row things that we've seen. The next one is from Gab Waller's Hot List, and this is the Poochie beige marmot dress. We know that Poochie, much like Mariah Carey at Christmas, thrives during the summer. Everybody seems to remember Poochie during this time. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, the marmot print, the waves. Poochie and Missoni tend to have... Poochie and Missoni are almost like a Christmas shop in anywhere. They do all of their sales during one period of the year and the rest of the time they're just waiting until that period again. That's my sorts of thoughts. Do I think that that should be the case? No. I think that they deserve better, but I'm just saying that this seems to be the pattern. Anyway, so you have this beige, very neutral take on Poochie's iconic marmot print in a little mini dress that is also, though, shockingly mesh. Now, this one surprised me because I was sort of expecting if there was going to be a Poochie dress on this list, it was going to either be a sort of like spandexy version of this or a flowy dress. This, like I said, is mesh. It's not that transparent that everybody would be like, okay, she's wearing a see-through dress. But it's not opaque. I tried on a sort of version of this dress, it's very different, but it's still got that material in it. And you can see the knickers. You can see, you know, these are my bum cheeks sort of thing. So interesting that this one is the most popular. Maybe also the price point, also maybe more as sort of a beach cover-up when you're on holiday, something like that. A lot of these sizes are sold out on the smaller size, but there's still some hope for you if you're interested. The Kate Loop Sandals. There are 3 different versions of this shoe. You've got a flat, you've got a tiny, apparently they're calling kitten heels that are even smaller than kitten heels nipple heels. A nipple heel and a kitten heel. Very minimalist, strappy little black leather straps. And then on the front, you have a couple of straps that have been threaded through with these multicolored tiny beads that might remind you of a holiday somewhere. You know, it's very sort of arts and crafty, but not in like a derogatory way. Anyway, again, you can see why they're popular. They're very summery. They are minimal and sort of simple, but with a touch of fun there. These ones, I keep hearing people talk about the fact that they're really popular, blah, blah, blah. If they are, then they've definitely had a restock, because there are still those going around. They seem to be performing well, but they're not sold out yet. So there is a chance there. The next one again is surprising to me. This is the this is the Chloe lace top. And this one might be surprising to me because it's just not my vibe whatsoever. It's very sort of girly. It's very sort of like a top version of a little negligee that a duchess in the early 1800s would have worn. No, she's not a duchess. She's got to be a French aristocracy because there's a little bit more sort of like, you know, lace and all of that going on. Anyway, you know the vibes. This is not cheap. This is almost $2,000 for a fun little top, as it were. Sold out on Chloe's website, and there is one left on My Teresa and one left on 24S by the time that this films. I know that Chloe's having a moment. I feel like Chloe's having much more of a moment with clothes than it is with bags. With the charm bag being, I think that this is going to be one of the good ones for it. And then you know what else is going to do well is the Paddington when that drops, but let's deal with that when it happens. Yeah, I feel like people are more interested in the clothes, but the clothes aren't the moneymaker. Question mark. Anyway, they are on the beginning of their rise. So again, it's a hot brand, people are interested. Okay, yeah, it's like a fun summer top. And fair enough. The last one again is not necessarily a widespread prediction. This is something that I think, do not be surprised if you see these on the Hermes loving top tier influencers. These are the Hermes headphones. Now you might think, oh yeah, like I remember when Fendi did headphones. I do, because I had a pair. They were like $1,000, which again was ridiculous for headphones, but you know, whatever, it's luxury. And then you're like, okay, so maybe something like that. Like I think Mont Blanc has just done headphones at like $500-y. $15,000. $15,000, 11,500 euros for the Hermes headphones. Now, I don't know the answer. I'm not a sciencey gal, or I didn't do the chemistry and the physics and the biology, you know, past GCSE level. So I don't know about how, you know, the proprietary technology that's kicking around in there. I don't know how much better it is than my little AirPod Maxes. But this is the first technology product by Hermes that is their own technology. So we know that they do like the Apple Watch, again that's a collaboration with Apple. They've also done like AirPods cases, again that's for an Apple product. But this is the first time that they're doing their own thing. Apparently they took 2 years to make, whatever. Don't be surprised if you see these on, you know, some people swinging around the handle of their Birkin, something like that. Keep an eye open for it. Let me know if anything was surprising to you, if anything tickled your fancy. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to leave a link to another video over here in case you haven't already seen it. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. And in the words of my father,
if you've enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you haven't, keep your mouth shut.
I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.